Welcome, everybody. I hope you're doing well. So let's get into it right away. I want to touch on the topic of putting the kingdom of heaven first. I think it's a topic that everybody knows or have heard before, but don't really take into consideration exactly what that means. Many people think that they put God first because they wake up in the morning and they start their day with a devotion or a prayer, maybe some meditation or some quiet time. And to them, it amounts to putting God first. Then they get up and they start their day, and God is forgotten until it's time at night before they go to bed. They say their prayers and they're off to sleep. But there is more to it than just that. To put God first means to be willing to give up that which you want and desire the most, whether it is an outcome, a place, a thing, or a person. One of the biggest reasons why people are not ascending is because there are emotional attachments to the things of this world. And in order to be able to put the things and the desires of the world aside, we need to be able to focus and become aware that we are spiritual beings having this experience at all times. And refining our focus, our awareness, and practice it is the way to go. When we seek God for superficial reasons, if we seek God to improve our lives or to bring about change, for success, or out of need, we will lack the discipline and the devotion, the perseverance to endure all kinds of trials and tribulations, and we will find excuses as to why we can't do this or can't do that. Now ask yourself the question, what is the one thing you can't see yourself living without? Who is the one person you can't imagine being without? Whether that is a loved one, a parent, a child, a friend. It can even be a mindset. And imagine giving that thing, person, or both up and give them to God. And if you say that you can do that easily, or you will be able to, can you prove that? As part of the human experience, we get attached to a certain way of things. We get attached to certain people. We are here for family and friends and community, and it's all good. But there are healthy ways to have connectedness, and then there are unhealthy ways. In order to determine whether that attachment is a healthy attachment, even if it's good for you, is to see whether you can give it up. And if you can't, then you have to start digging and you have to start asking yourself, why not? And believe me when I tell you that I am talking about personal experience. I have been asked to give up everything and everyone and give them to God. And my greatest and deepest desires have been taken from me. And I grieved for a very long time. I went through the 7 stages of grief, and one of them are anger. I have been so angry at God. I didn't ask Him for much ever, but the one thing, that I really, really wanted, that one experience, was given to me as a tester or a taster or a start, just to let me experience that what I thought was absolutely impossible is possible. And then it was taken from me. And it was done with perfect planning and as a big setup from heaven. Why? Because they wanted to punish me or chastise me? No, because it's showing me my attachments. It's showing me my insecurities. It's showing me my reliance on something outside of me that I didn't even know was there. And it's never personal. It's never punishment. If we want to ascend and if we want to become leaders and influencers of New Earth, we need to be able to stand through any temptation that is placed before us. And if we have an unhealthy emotional attachment, it can and will be used against us. Putting God first is to keep our eyes on the bigger picture, on the mission at hand. That this is not about personal comfort, personal desires and wants, but it is because of a plan that has been unfolding for millennia, and we all play a part in it. We can't take our longings and our desires and the illusions of this world with us if we want to ascend. Ascension is not about escaping a world that we can't deal with, that is cruel and brutal. It's about shedding everything that we are not, but we're told that we are. When you sign up for the army, you go for training and they tear you down completely. And once there is nothing left, then they build you up again. And they form you and shape you and mold you into who you will then become. A soldier that can be used for purposes and missions beyond your understanding. We need to be able to follow instructions and guidance without questioning, without second guessing, without the need to understand. And that comes from trust. And in order to trust, you have to go through trials and tribulations. And you have to be willing to let go of everything. There is nothing and no one you can take with you except for the knowledge, the gnosis, the knowing through experience. When you seek God first for the right reasons, and that is to know God, to experience God, not to receive something or get something back, then you will be able to endure and persevere. You will set your heart and mind. You will be disciplined and devoted, giving up something that you desire would be so much more easier. I'm not saying it will be without challenge, but if you can keep perspective and know that it is not for your harm and that God has good plans for you, you just need to get through this molding process, this refining through fire. When you make a claim such as, I will give up anything for God or anyone for God, to see God, to know God, then you must be able to prove it. And I can promise you that God will take you up on your word, and you will be tested to see what will your attitude be when everything is taken from you. And once again, it's not for your harm. It's not personal, but it is there to show you your attachments, your insecurities, your wrong beliefs, the lies, the illusions that you've swallowed. And when you are doing it for the right reasons, then you are brave. You face your giants. You go within and you look at your shadow. And it's hard. It's hard to be compassionate on yourself. You have to look at your flaws and love yourself there in it. And then you need to decide, I'm not going to just leave it there, but I'm going to alchemize and transform those shadows into something beautiful. You see, acceptance of it doesn't mean you're going to let it stay. Acceptance is just meaning that I know you're there, and I know that you, the shadow, is a part of me. But energy can't be destroyed. It can only be changed from one form into another. And then you decide that it is time for me to transform this energy into something beautiful. Now, some of you will say, how can God expect me to give up my child, my parent, my mate, my partner? I love them so much. You see, it's not really about walking away and leaving them. It's a mindset. It's a mental shift. And it's an emotional detachment. Understanding that there is a difference between conditional human love and unconditional godly love. And that love that is unconditional, is a love that doesn't need to be with someone in order to love them. It is about loving someone whether they are with you or whether they are without you, and to be able to continue life and live a healthy, prosperous, and joyful life whether you are with them or not. It is the freedom to let them go, because it's not about you. It's not about your desires and your wants. It is about that person being happy with or without you. As parents, people forget that their children are just borrowed to them, that you are just the vessel that brings a soul into the human experience, and that that child might not even be soul family or spirit family. You were just the vessel that brought an old soul, most likely, one who has had many experiences before, into the world to have another experience. And many of our children and our parents and families incarnate and keep incarnating together to work through their karma. And that's why there are so many infighting and dramas inside of families. Your children aren't yours to keep. Even though you have learned many life lessons and you wish your children would learn from you instead of making their own mistakes, you can't stop their lessons. You're not doing them a favor. You can only try and support them and help them to navigate those lessons and challenges in a healthy way. But at the end of the day, it is still their choice, it's their decision, it's their free will to experience life in whatever way they want to experience it, to do whatever they need to do. Many times, our children, if we married and had kids with a karmic partner, you will find that those kids are most of the time karmic kids. Not always angels incarnated, but sometimes fallen ones, because the union wasn't godly. The union wasn't done in the right way. The union took place under unhealthy and sometimes toxic decisions and choices. Nothing on this earth that we cling to is good for us. And when we can realize that the experiences are there to show us that this is not our home. If there are bad, surely there are good as well. There's always balance in the universe, right? The theme plays through in the Bible in various places. You can think about Abraham, think about Job, and then think about Jesus, who told the rich young man, who told Jesus or Yeshua that he has done everything that Yeshua has taught. And Jesus turned around and told to him, then sell all that you have, take up your cross and follow me. That's the last illusions. If we understand that the things that we cling to are based on thoughts, and thoughts create emotions and feelings, they teach us from the day we can understand that this is how it works. This is how it's supposed to be. This is what is expected of you. This is the norm. Let's call it the standard operating procedures for Earth. To ascend, you have to discard the standard operating procedures from Earth. You need to understand that there are different ways of doing it, higher ways, and that what you were taught is the norm, the way it should work, the way that it needs to be done and how it should be needs to change. It needs to be different. It needs to be seen from a higher perspective. There is a bigger picture. And if you can hold this in your mind, then this journey will be so much easier. It's a matter of changing your mind, changing your thoughts, changing your beliefs. And although the concept is rather simple, you'll be surprised at how the mind will fight and throw obstacles when you try and change that which you have always known and believed to be true. And in order to persevere, in order to allow the transformation, you have to seek the kingdom of God first. And you have to seek God for the right reasons to enable, to endure, not out of need, not because you want something, but because you want to know and understand and have personal experience with the one who gave you life, the one that created you, the one that formed you with love and care, kindness, gentleness, and is watching over you patiently, right here, right now. Don't make the mistake of trying to escape this world. Find your peace inside of it, no matter what, because it's a shift of focus, a shift of mental perspective, and the willingness to let go of the things of this world, whether they seem important, whether you have deep desires and wants of it. Ask yourself, where did it start? Why do I want what I want? Why do I have to have it? What do I think is missing in my life? And then realize that everything in this world is fleeting. Everything in this world will pass away. The one thing that will never pass away is God, our source, the one who breathed us to life. And when you can keep that perspective, then suddenly everything else becomes unimportant. We can't expect a new earth if we keep on dressing up the old ways and the old world with new wording and lingo and all sorts of, I will use my spiritual gifts and I will grow a spiritual business and I will make profit and I will give to others so that no one goes hungry. But that is not God's way. It's not that God doesn't want you to prosper, but you need to be able to prosper without it just as much as you will prosper with it. And once you can prosper without, then it will be given back to you to prosper with. So make the decision. Make the decision to put God first. And in the next couple of videos, I will talk about how to refine your attention, how to keep your focus on the things above, your focus on God, and be aware and mindful of who you are, where you are, who God is, and where God is at all times. Talk to you soon.